Hello everybody and welcome back to TTTV. You're watching TTL F1, which takes place at the Singapore Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and well, I did contemplate having my very own Ted Kravitz for the evening. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, have a look at my Twitter in just a couple of seconds. Yeah, I think it's been interesting this time I've had. Not exactly ill, but I've been better, that's for sure. And now I can't seem to find. There we go, I found it. Anyway, yeah, I'm just talking to myself now. YouTube's going through this beta thing, and it's not great. Anyway, round 15, Singapore. Let's talk about that instead. And what a race this is shaping up to be. And I'm hoping. Oh, hello, that's me on the stream. That's a bit of a that's weird. So let me just get set up with the stream and hope that all the links work and everything like that before we get into. There we go. So the tweet's been sent out. There we go. It's always good to self-promote and whatnot. Anyway, welcome back to Singapore. Hopefully the internet's okay. I am trying to stream it on 720p standard, so we'll have to see how that goes. If not, I may have to restart the stream. I did test it yesterday and it seemed okay. So I'm hoping that that everything's okay. I hope. Anyway, so let's go through some driver standings, shall we? So Poe now leads the table on 208 points. Lambo's in second on 196. Spike in third on 191. Squeezy in fourth on 187. Lighty in fifth on 79. Maze is in sixth on 65. Siege in seventh on 63. We've got Technique in eighth on 62. Ollie in ninth on 51. Steph is in 10th on 46. We have Blizzard in 11th on 40 points. Z3 tied with Jay in 12th place, both on 31 points. Sean and Alan Kay tied on 14th with 22 points. Damien in 16th on 18 points. Onyx 17th with 16 points, tied with Clifford on 16 points. Plaster tied with LMFC on 10 points, as are Tractor and Weed, but all tied on 10 points. 23rd is the Gort on 6 points, and CSR Hamilton, all of those guys are reserves. 24th with 2 points. Those four guys at the bottom of the table, Tractor, Weed, Gort and Hamilton, all reserves for TTL F1. We look to the constructors then. So it is Renault at the top of the table on 264 points, McLaren in second on 241, Toro Rosso in third on 227, Sauber in fourth on 221. Then it's a big drop to Williams in fifth on 110, Ferrari in sixth on 89, Haas in seventh on 83, Red Bull at eighth on 68, Mercedes in ninth on 64, and Force India starting to pick up some points and starting to pick up some momentum in 10th place there on 28 points. Now Singapore then, one of the most demanding tracks on the calendar. We go to it. It may not necessarily have the the physical standings of a normal F1 race there. However, with a 50% race with safety cars involved, you can reach well into an hour racing. It's happened before, and it could well happen again, especially with a 50% race. Of these cars are a lot quicker, and so we should be okay. But you're looking at about 45 to 50 minutes of race time, even without a safety car. So it is a very physical and demanding track, and unlike other racetracks, Monaco is its own different breed with how close the walls are, but Singapore does have opportunities to overtake, and you really have to be on the limit for most of the race, but you have to be concentrating for all of it. There's no real time you can breathe. I remember Spike was talking to me about driving the Singapore track a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me that when you're racing at Singapore, there is such concentration going through your head, and you don't really look where you are on the position sheet because there's not really enough time to do it. So you're just constantly going around, and when you come into the pits, that's when you get to see the position you're in. So it's very, very demanding, requires all of your concentration, and because there's not really a long enough straight to look at the positions or anything, you could argue, coming out of turn, I believe it's turn 5, you could argue there that that's a little bit of a straight, but even then it's got a bend in it of turn 6, so you have to keep fully concentrated, especially with that DRS open as well. So it is a physically demanding track. 23 corners make up the 5 kilometers we take around the Marina Bay circuit. We're looking at 31 laps of this Singapore circuit, so we'll be covering around about 154 kilometers. The lap record set in this season's race, 141.905 by Kevin Magnussen. We date back to the Marina Bay Street Circuit in 2008, and well, Singapore has had a recent history. It's had contact, it's had debris in the wall and all sorts, and it played host to a Challenge Cup seasons ago, where Weed Nation took his first ever league racing win. So that was amazing to see, and yeah, he was pretty chuffed about it, I will say that. We're going to see now what is going on. Hopefully the stream is okay. Obviously keep your comments coming in, because I am trying to get up the stream and then to read the comments. So I can't see anything yet, but what I can tell you is the result of last time out. Now, Squeezy does have a qualifying ban for this race. I think we all pretty much know why, but if you did miss the last race, go back and watch it. It was a little bit not what we want to see in TTL, really. So let's hope the drivers can learn from that. Everyone got a bit of a lecture after the stewards had got their hearing. So, you know, everybody's been told to calm down, keep it clean, and hopefully we should be having some great racing. And to keep it clean around Singapore is one thing, to keep it out of the barriers is another. So it should be a challenging feat for all of the drivers. So much concentration. I hope everyone's got a bottle of water beside them, because even though there's no heat of the Singapore Grand Prix to contend with, there is that physical concentration, especially if you're on a wheel. All of those there. Z3 says, why restart the stream? Well, Z3, I saw all of my 4 bars there turn to red and 1, so I thought this could be an interesting one. Hello to Jay, who has just joined onto the TTG team. So is another one signed up and ready to race. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Jay can do. He's obviously shown pace, and he's capable of getting those podiums and maybe even a race win. So he just needs to keep his head down. I mean, we've seen Squeezy 4th in the table. Looking back at past races, Squeezy made his debut and finished 13th in his first ever race. I believe that was at, it's calling back now, I think it was at Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll see why I've been looking back at past races very, very soon. Hopefully an exciting announcement to make towards Thursday at the very least. Stay tuned for that one. Obviously we are waiting for a couple of people. We are delaying the start of the race by just a bit, by a request of one of the drivers. I won't say who, but I'll let you add it all up. May saying if Carlsberg did commentators. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, before this race started, I was getting set up in my in the place I'd normally do my commentary, and I sent out a tweet, and it was showing that I almost had my very own Ted Kravitz in the room. Unfortunately, though, as cute as it was, I had to kick him out. Because obviously I need my lap to lean forward. But funnily enough, I do lean forward quite a lot in these races and in these streams. It helps me feel closer to the action, I guess. So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it would have been in the way of me leaning forward on my lap. So what can you do? Anyway, probably should go back to the race, considering round number 15. So we have 7 races of the season to go. Once this race is completed, we will have reached the 2/3 distance in the championship, and we still have 4 title contenders. It's very rare to see, but it should make for some fantastic battling up and down the field. Obviously Poe leading the way. He is ahead by 12 points from Lambo, and he's ahead by, I believe, 17 points from Spike. So he's got a healthy buffer at the top there, and yeah, we could be seeing a 4-way battle. But let me know from Poe, Lambo, Spike and Squeezy, who do you think will take the championship? Of course, at the moment it's still all up for grabs. I mean, you've got Lighty there, 79 points, and if there's 7 races to go, 725s is maths, that is 175 points up for grabs. So I mean, Lighty it's mathematically possible that you could win the championship still. So keep going for it, I would say. But yeah, 7 rounds to go, crunch time, and we're coming to one of the most difficult tracks. Well, demanding is also a more appropriate word on the calendar, and it is a real driver's track. Once you get into the flow of Singapore, you really start to get those lap times down and really focus on getting those lap times in there. You find it's actually one of the more I wouldn't say it's revered. It's far from it, not revered at all. But we shall see shortly as we arrive into the garages at Singapore. 16 drivers join us for this one, and I'm hoping we can have a really exciting race. Singapore does deliver, and as we've seen in previous seasons, there's a lot of battling that goes on. So yeah, hopefully we can see a little bit of that too, and good following so far. Yeah, I was saying earlier on, I was looking back at previous races, and you will see why. Have a look on TTL F1. That is where the announcement will be made on the Twitter at TTL F1. You can follow us there, and we'll make that announcement later on in the week. But if you've got the clues, I'm pretty sure you can see where I'm going with it. So the first to leave looks like a Toro Rosso, both Toro Rossos in fact. I've got that completely wrong. It's actually a Force India and then a Williams. I just recently got my eyes tested, and well, the less said about that then, the better, as we see Damien leaving the pits. Who is first to leave the pits then on the lap? It was a Force India, so it could be Clifford, and it is Clifford, so let's jump on board with him then as he makes his way out onto the track. So you can see there, fitted tyres. You've got this weekend, or should I say this race, you have the Ultra Softs, and I believe the Super Softs and the Softs, or the Hyper Softs in fact. Hyper Softs, Ultra Softs and Softs. So there is that big jump between the Ultra Softs and the soft tyres. So well, a couple of drivers here. You can see on the scoreboard there on the left hand side, it's quite hard to tell the difference between the Hypersofts and the Ultrasofts from a certain angle, but I'm sure I'll cope then. 18 minutes around the Marina Bay street circuit through the old Singapore sling there, and we're coming towards the bridge now. Very tight this section here, so you've got to get as close to that right hand side wall as you dare there, but we're seeing Clifford right now make his way up and towards that right-hander here. Lots of drivers should be keeping themselves well hydrated in this one. It is a long circuit, long old race, but it does provide us with plenty of action. So as I go to look at the, I'm having real trouble with the live chat there, and our weather reporter in the pit lane is saying it's going to be dry for the race. Well, there's only one wet race I've ever seen at Singapore, and that was the one in 2017, I want to say. Was it 2018? You know the one I'm talking about, the one where it was like inters Like, we've never seen intermediate tyres at Singapore before, but we got to there. Thomas Lighty says, nice from me. Thank you. I can't remember what I said. It's always the way. Anyway, Clifford's on a lap here then, as he makes his way through turn 5 and then towards turn 6. This left-hander here. Make sure you're not too greedy with the curb on the outside there, because then you make your way towards the next right-hander. Very tight. All about traction here at Singapore, and those rear tyres take a beating, as Clifford here on those soft tyres is hoping to make the most of his lap, and to hope that he can get the lap he needs then as he heads through the old Singapore sling towards the Anderson Bridge and towards the hairpin of turn 13. Good overtaking opportunity this one if you play your cards right. If not, you're going straight into the side pod of the other car as we make our way up the hill to the end of sector 2 towards turn 14. Clifford chucks the car in, and again hope it sticks there. We now go through the slight kink of 15 towards turn 16. You always have to do your braking in turn 15, which isn't ideal as we head through turn 17. Then it's under the stadium of turn 18 and 19. Through that right-hander of turn 20, through the left-hander of turn 21. And then you've got the double left-hander of turns 22 and 23. Chuck the car in, kiss the curb on the inside. Sean sets a 140.3, and Clifford's lap was invalidated. So, Sean there, 140.3. We've got Z3 out there on a lap. Jay is out there too, as Plaster then goes quicker with a 140.3 there. The Gort on a 137.0. on a set of hyper soft tyres. Siege goes quicker, 136.0 on a set of ultra softs. That is a great lap from Siege there. And we'll see if we can get other drivers and see how they're going in this one. Spike then back into the pits. He wasn't happy. So Spike not happy then with that one. Or at least that lap anyway. Yellow flag sector 2. That's probably just cars trying to dive out of the way. Then we've got Ollie on a lap, and that is Z3 setting a 138.6, which puts him for now in P3. Clifford is still out there on his set of soft tyres. George Roberts has already set a lap, but it hasn't been accepted. It's rather been deleted by the virtual race control. We've got Clifford still out there. Now I wonder if he's going to continue on with this lap then. Oh, he tags the wall quite hard there. Don't know if he's got damage then as he heads through the left-hander of turn 18 through turn 19. And then through 20 and 21. And then again that double left-hander of 22 and 23. Now he might just go out here and try and set that lap. Set a banker lap at least. And he does. A 137.8. And this time it counts. That is a great lap time for the soft tyres. More time to be found though in this session. Don't be surprised to see cars into the 135s and maybe even into the 134s if you can really hook the car up right. 11.5 minutes to go in the session, and Siege currently tops the table. He is normally pretty strong at Singapore, and he has proven right now on those ultra soft tyres a 136.0 is the time to beat then at this stage in qualifying. George Roberts has set another invalidated lap on a set of hyper soft tyres, so he'll probably want to come in now because it hasn't worked on those tyres, so he can basically bin those tyres and move on to a new set. And I wonder if that is what he's going to do as he heads down the straight. He's still in attack mode though. Very surprised to see that. I wonder if the battery's actually going to last on his lap. But, well, he heads towards turn 7, then through turn 8 right now, and then towards the left-hander of turn 9, as we see the Ferrari there of Plaster trying to get out of the way. We've got Ollie there on a 139.8 on a set of hyper soft tyres. And Lambo is out there right now, championship contender. He's going for the soft tyres for his first lap, currently on an out lap right now. Steph is also out there, and this will be him starting his flying lap on a set of ultra soft tyres as he heads into turn 3 there. Seems to lose the car slightly there through turn 2 as we now go through turn 4. That slight kink there in towards turn 5, and it's all about getting that exit spot on DRS wide open now as we fly through turn number 6 and towards the left-hander of turn number 7. Pick your braking points just after the 100-metre board. And Steph running a little bit wide there, losing that back end, but I wonder if he'll just carry on with the lap just to set some sort of banker lap. And he might just keep pushing on and seeing what he can do then. Remember, the Gort and Clifford here trying to work miracles for the Force India. They find themselves rooted to the bottom of the constructors table, and they'll be hoping that they can just reel some good points and get themselves back up to where they really should be with two talented drivers. Lambo then on a flying lap as Sean gets out of the way. We've also got Lighty here. Now, is Lighty on an out lap or a flying lap? It's an out lap, but he's going to push now as we see Steph here. I believe this is him coming towards turn. There's so many turns here. 16, then through 17. That's it. Got there at the end. And then we come towards 18 here, under the spectators there, through turn 19. And then the right-hander of turn 20. This sort of right angle, 90-degree corner section really plays havoc with the tyres then. And as Steph tries to find round at the final 2 corners, he comes towards the line, and on a set of ultra softs he sets a 1:39.0. But it was, I think Steph will even admit too, that it was a scruffy lap, and he's still in attack mode for the ERS battery, so expect him to do one more lap on those tyres. Here comes Lambo then towards the line. What can he do? He goes P3, 1:37.1, pipping Clifford right now, and we have, I believe that is Sean behind him. It is, on a set of ultra soft tyres, now looking to try and set a lap. Lighty making his way through turn 13 after the Anderson Bridge here. Jay is making his way through 15 and 16 here, and through turn 18 and 19. What can Jay do then? He's shown some good pace, but with a new esports team, can he start off in the right direction, chucking the car in to that double left-hander as he makes his way towards the line? It's a 1:35.3 on those hyper soft tyres, and Jay takes provisional pole for the Singapore Grand Prix. Lighty then, his turn to round the final 2 corners. What can he do? What can his lap time be? It's a 1:38.9, but it doesn't count. So Race Control have deleted his lap time, and they'll have to go again. As we see this camera angle of the Ferrari going through 3 and then 4, coming towards the right-hander of turn 5, and it looks like he's still going for it, still in that attack mode, mode 5 for the ERS, but he doesn't open the DRS, so I'm thinking, well, he's backed out of it now. Z3 now out there on a new lap on a set of hyper soft tyres, and he's really going to attack the track now as he makes his way towards the old Singapore sling. Maybe a little bit too deep there, but he tries to make his way now towards the Anderson Bridge and towards that hairpin of turn 13. And I think he just about gets that right there. Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin on the exit there. Not ideal, but as we now head towards the end of Sector 2, towards Sector 3, and chuck it into turn 14. And then we're coming towards the slight kink of 15. Into turn 16 now. You can be greedy with the both the curbs here if you really want to, but not the outside wall as Z3's just done there. And I wonder if he's got a little bit of front wing damage. Never mind though. He's now going through turn 18 and 19. Now coming through the right-hander of turn 20, left-hander of 21. It's all about being smooth on the controls, and Z3, you can see there, put it down into mode 1. He's not happy with that lap, and he's coming back. Will he have to make repairs? I wonder. Damien is on a flying lap, as is Maze and Lighty. Forget I said that. Lighty comes back into the pit. Spike on a flying lap, it looks like. So is George Roberts. So here comes Maze then, round the final 2 corners towards the line to start a flying lap here at Singapore. He always likes to leave it late, and he's really going to go for it now. Interesting mode 4 right now for the Haas, so maybe he's saving the battery for later down the lap. And Ollie has been hit with a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with the Gort. Now, I said earlier that the Gort drove for Force India. That was a complete lie, because he actually drives for the Haas. Chalk that up on the Kieran mistakes board. There's many to come. Many have been and gone. And Thomas Lighty, so Lighty44 in the race, says he has no DRS whatsoever. So whether it's a failure or not is another question, but Lighty doesn't have that DRS. So obviously there's 2 DRS zones, one along the start-finish straight and one after turn 5, that right-hander, which ends sector 1. So that's going to hurt him. Definitely, because you run so much downforce at Singapore. Damien comes towards the line then and goes P8 with a 138.0. You run so much downforce here at Singapore that you really need that DRS zone to make the most out of your laps. Here comes Mays then, coming towards turn number 18. You will have to excuse me, I'm still trying to fight this sore throat. It's getting on my nerves now, but I'm not letting it get in the way. Mays then rounding the final 2 corners of 22 and 23. And he comes towards the line on a set of hypersoft tyres and goes P4, 136.9 from the Haas drivers. And it's a good lap from Mays. And we've got Damien out on a lap, and Z3 reporting the same problem. So Z3, 10th at the moment, 138.6 on a set of ultra-soft tyres. Lighty hasn't set a lap time yet, so let's have a look with the Ferrari driver then, as he rounds turn 3. Now, of course, turn 4 through here, and then after turn 5, that's where the DRS zone is. You got the detection point on the exit of turn 4. Here it comes, and yeah, he doesn't turn it on. This is his outlap though, so I would assume that if you had problems with DRS, you'd try and open it on your outlap just to see if it does work. But well, the DRS being shut for the Ferrari of Lighty, and it seems like Z3 has a similar problem. So a little bit of drama here added to qualifying. That's unheard of. I've never heard of drivers here having DRS problems. Spike then P2 off camera, set a 135.7 on a set of ultra soft tyres. That's a great lap from the Alfa Romeo Sauber driver. So your list of drivers so far: Jay is top of the table as he leaves the pit lane. And he is currently topping the table on 135.3, leaving on another set of ultra soft tyres. Spike pulls into the pits then, but he's got to be quick about the change around. He's in P2 there. Siege is in P3 on a 136.0 on ultra soft. There's Mays, who returns at the pits. And well, is there going to be enough time for him to come back to the pits and set a lap time? Plaster is that coming into the pits. 140.1 from him on a set of soft tyres. We've got the Gort there in P5, 137.0 at the moment. And it looks like he's on a flying lap right now, so that could come down. We've got Lambo there in P6, currently on an outlap. He's now going for a set of ultra soft tyres. He did, he did set a lap time on a set of soft tyres as a sort of banker lap, and he set a 137.1. Clifford here then, going to start his lap. Currently P7 on a 137.8. Sean is in P8 on a 137.9. Damien in P9 on a 138.0. Z3 is in 10th place, but we'll have to see whether his DRS opens or not. Which I'm going to jump on board with Lighty then. And with a 1 minute 26 to go, he is on a flying lap right now. And Damien's retired from the session then. So Damien, I believe, retired in the pits. There's C3. I thought he lost the back end there, but he was just trying to warm up the tyres. And Spike, Siege and Mays have all missed the cut-off. There's Spike then joining onto the circuit, but he's not going to have enough time, and he knows that. He definitely knows that. He's not going to have enough time to set another lap. So Mays knows that. He retires from the session then. And, well, it's not worked for Spike. Meanwhile, the Gort there in P3 now, 135.9, puts himself on the second row for now. We've got Lambo here, ready to try and take advantage. Watch out for Jay as well. He started a new flying lap with 30 seconds to go. He's timed it pretty well. The Gort now retires, having set that lap time. And there is Lambo then coming towards the final couple of corners. And he is going to be one of the last cars to set a lap time. He crosses the line with around about 20 seconds to go. His teammate Z3, DRS is open this time, so whatever the issue was, the Toro Rosso lads have fixed it. So kudos to them. They've got the DRS working. How about Lighty though? Oh, Lighty loses the back end and into the wall he goes. But he knows he's got to carry on. Does he? No, he doesn't. He goes straight on and retires from the session then. And there's George Roberts, who hasn't set a lap time yet. And he's looking to try and just put a lap down in this session as he now heads towards the final 2 corners. What sort of lap time will he set then? Rounding the final corner. And it's a 1:42.7. So it does put him into P14. Ollie there on a lap. But he's 2.5 seconds down, so he's rather backed out of it as Jay clips the wall. But again, he looks like he's got away with damage there. So very lucky from the Renault driver indeed. We've got Lambo on a flying lap. We've also got Z3 on one as well. So only 4 drivers under human control, that is. But Ollie, of course, hasn't set a lap time, or has already set a lap time. Jay then, 1:35.3. But he didn't go quicker, or if he did, it invalidated his lap time. There's Z3 then, P6 with a working DRS, so that's much better from him. What about Lambo though? The last to set a lap time. As he comes around the final 2 corners, does he grab pole position? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. So then Lambo will be starting from P6 on the grid. So he invalidated his lap time. So it looked like he's around about 8/10 up from his good lap time. So that would have been a 1:35.5. So that would have put him P2. So made that mistake then. And Lambo will find himself starting on the 3rd row on the grid. Is that right? Yes, he will. The back end of the 3rd row. And Lambo, that's why he lost his front wing. He lost his front wing and was still 7/10 up. That's saying something. But, well, Lambo then will join with Z3, P6 and P7. And Matthias asking what the championship standings are looking like, which we'll go through very quickly after we see the qualifying results. So, Jay then. New signing with a new esports team, and he puts it on pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix then. Spike will be in P2, Clifford in P3, Degort in P4, Siege in 5th, Lambo 6th, Z3 7th, Ollie in 8th. But remember, he has that 5-place grid penalty for a collision during qualifying. Mays is behind him, Sean in 10th, Damien 11th, Steph in 12th, Plaster 13th, George Roberts 14th, Lighty 15th, and Squeezy, obviously with that qualifying ban, will be starting from P16 and the back of the grid. So with Ollie's penalty, he'll be starting from P13 and has to start on his hyper soft tyres that he used in this qualifying session. We'll quickly run through the driver standings then. Poe is leading the way at the top, 208 points, Lambo in 2nd on 196, Spike in 3rd on 191, Squeezy in 4th on 187, Lighty in 5th on 79, Mays in 6th on 65, Siege in 7th on 63, Technique is in 8th on 62, Ollie in 9th on 51, Steph is in 10th on 46, Blizzard in 11th on 40, Z3 and Jay tied in 12th, they're on 31 points. Sean and Alan K tied for 14th on 22 points. Damien 16th on 18 points. Onyx in 17th on 16 points, tied with Clifford as well. Plaster, LMFC, Tractor and Weed tied for 19th place, although they're all reserve drivers apart from Plaster and LMFC. There you go, there's a Murrayism for you. They're all tied for 19th place. 23rd is the Gort on 6 points, and CSR Hamilton on 2 points on 24th. But Tractor Weed, the Gort and CSR Hamilton all reserve drivers. As I see the safety car in the distance, they're having a little bit of a moment. I hope Bernd Myland is okay in there, but there we go. Hopefully he's okay. If it's looking that bad, but there we go then. Here we go for the formation lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. And well, Jay here will be leading the pack into turn 1, and he's got to get this start absolutely spot on. It is his first pole position in TTL F1, so he'll be hoping to round it off with a win. And can he be only the second driver outside of the top 4 battling for the championship to win a race? Of course, that driver who finished first outside of the top 4 in the championship was Blizzard back at the British Grand Prix. So it's really been dominated by those top 4 at Jay looking to get some good points on the board. Spike there, fighting for a championship. He currently is in second place. He'll be starting from second place on the grid. Lambo is another one of the battlers. No Poe tonight, so we could be seeing a championship lead change by the end of the Singapore Grand Prix. The gap is 12 points. So if anyone can grab a podium, they will, well, if Spike can grab a podium, that is, he will regain the lead of the championship. And we have to watch out for Squeezy Lemon with that qualifying ban. He's starting in P16, so Singapore's a difficult track, but it's also a very long race. So he's gone for the soft tyres. Let's have a look at some of the tyre choices. Of course, the top 10, well, top 9 I should say, have to start on the tyres they qualified on. Damien will be starting from P10 on soft tyres, Seth in 11th on ultra soft plaster, and Ollie on the ultra soft and hyper soft respectively. Ollie having to start on the tyres he qualified on because he finished qualifying in the top 10. Of course, with his 5 close place grid penalty, starts from P13. George Roberts on the ultra soft tyres, Light E in 15th on a set of soft tyres, with Squeezy Lemon in 16th on another set of softs. Well, Lambo there in P6 will be hoping for a much better race this time around as they make their way back to the grid. A little bit of a burnout from the AI as they come back to the grid now. That's an added feature. But as they all start to make their way back to the grid now, I believe we're missing the Ferrari of Light E. But TTL F1 is brought to you by weakwifi-solutions.com. Make sure you give them a visit and solve your internet problems with them. It's also brought to you by failgrips.com. Use the code TTL F1 at the checkout for a 10% discount off your entire basket order. For now though, we are live here for TTL F1 round number 15 at the Singapore Grand Prix, and we're waiting for the lights as they count up. 5 red lights. Round 15 is underway, and what are the starts like? Well, how is Spike starting here? It looks like Jay has got a pretty good start though, but Spike's going to try and go down the inside. No can do though. Jay holds on to the lead as we head through turns 1, 2 and 3 then. Clifford has got a good start. He's up to P3. The Gort in 4th there. Lambo's jumped a position. He's now up into P5 there, with Z3 dropping a place then as we see the Force India clip the wall slightly then. Now it looks like all 16 of them have made it through the first few corners okay, and here they come now, down towards turn number 5, or turn number 6 I should say. That is Siege there, having a little bit of a moment, but he's held on though. He's in P6, Lambo here, oh sorry, Z3, down to P7, and well, he's running a little bit wide there. Meanwhile, further behind, as I try and get the menu in order, Maze has made a move on Steph then, up into P10 he goes, and Ollie looks like he's going to try and move up the inside. As he? No, he backed out of it, and Steph is left to his own devices then. Squeezy though up to P13, he's up 3 places from his starting position. Meanwhile Ollie here is trying to have a good battle with Steph, but he's not really going to try and find a way past through turn 13. Obviously we've got a lot of strategies going on here. Might be a battle of strategies rather than track position for these first few stints. Obviously if you're on the hypersoft tyres, you want to be on the soft tyres towards the end of the race, but making these hypersoft tyres last is going to be a challenge, as Ollie will know that. Of course those are his used set of hypersofts that he had to use in qualifying, but he's going to try and move now towards turn 18. Down the inside he goes, leaves the Mercedes room around the outside, but Steph there doesn't quite have the grip, and Ollie moves up into P10. Great move from Ollie then as he finds himself back into the points. Steph though struggling on this, and he's coming into the pits, as is Squeezy, that looks like. And it is, yes, so Squeezy into the pits then with Steph getting a 5-second stop go for exceeding track limits. Now I wonder if that's going to be added to his current stop, and it is. They're going to serve it straight away. So now they change the tyres and the front wing. That's excruciating for Steph then. Squeezy, who's into the pits, wanted to make those soft tyres run as long as possible, but he's gone into trouble somewhere. Has to change the front wing. On go a set of ultra soft tyres, and away he goes. So then Jay leads the way, Spike in 2nd, Clifford in 3rd, the Gort is in 4th place, Lambo 5th, Siege 6th, Z3 7th, Sean 8th, Maze 9th, and Ollie 10th. Rounds off your top 10 for the Singapore Grand Prix right now. Ollie here is putting Maze under a lot of pressure here as he's trying to get into the slipstream, but backs out of any move there. And Ollie on hypersofts, as is Maze. So he's looking to try and find that way past sooner rather than later around a track that's pretty difficult to overtake. Not impossible though, especially with the DRS zones and heavy braking zones. You can make those moves around this track. One person who'll be trying to make a move sooner rather than later is the Gort. He's only a 10th behind Clifford here as we've got yellow flags in Sector 2. I'm not quite sure who it is. Whoever it is though has righted themselves apparently because the yellow flags have gone. But the Gort though, right on the tail of Clifford, and so much so that he's got himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And Clifford's done exactly the same, so that neutralises that battle. Then it's back on as the Gort then into the slipstream goes against Clifford, and Spike sets the fastest lap of the race in response to Jay's quick opening lap. And we see here Ollie's come into the pits now. Now, is that Ollie who's made a mistake or found the wall at some point? This might be him coming in for a new set of tyres and a front wing. Now, is a front wing ready at the McLaren team? It's not. So it's a very early stop then for Ollie to come in and put on a set of soft tyres. So he only did the qualifying run and then 2 more laps on the Hypersoft tyres. So is that right then? The life of those tyres is around about 5 or 6 laps. Hard to believe though, but we'll have to take that at face value at the moment. So Jay then has extended the lead to 1.1 seconds as we're looking at the battle for this is 3rd place there. You can see the Force India of Clifford looking pretty vulnerable here as we head into turn 13. You can see there the Gort was trying to have a look up the inside, looking to try and optimise the traction out of turn 13. Here he comes then. Oh no, he backed out of it into turn 14, but Clifford has run a little bit wide to try and optimise his line through the next 3 sections into 15 and then to 16 and 17 here. Again, you're following the car in front. It's easy to form a queue here at Singapore as we head into 18 and then through 19. As Damien here further behind makes a move on George Roberts, and Damien now up into P12. Oh, that was the Force India of Clifford there getting into the wall. Has he got any damage, I wonder? But this is the Gort then. He senses the opportunity, trying to go down the inside as we head towards turn 1. Is that the Toro Rosso of Lambo looking to try and take advantage as well? Well, the Gort has got up onto the podium now with Clifford in 4th, Lambo in 5th. And Lambo came very close to the wall there, but he's held on though and keeps P5 for now. So there's Jay in the picture. He leads the race. Spike there in 2nd. That's the Gort in 3rd. Passing us is Clifford in 4th. Then there's Lambo and Siege in 5th and 6th place. They're building up a gap to Z3, who finds himself 6.3 seconds behind already as Clifford runs wide on the exit of turn 6 there. Or turn 7, I should say, as we head through turn 8. Now coming towards turn... I've lost my corners, but Jay's hit the wall. Jay's hit the wall and he's lost his front wing. Oh, the leader of the race has hit the wall somewhere, and that's going to be an excruciating lap back to the pits. It's all that concentration, and he must have lost the car. He was building up a healthy gap over Spike, but he's made that mistake now, and here comes a battle between the Gort and Spike as George Roberts retires from the session. The Gort then might take the lead of the race, and he has! Round the outside, the Gort leads at Singapore, lap 4 of this Grand Prix, and the reserve driver of the Gort finds himself leading the race. Great move from the Gort then, as Spike loses that back end very slightly into turn 17, or 18 and 19 we go. So many corners at Singapore, it's easy to get them mixed up. We now head into 19 and 20, and then towards 20... or 21 even. See, there's so many corners there. It's so confusing. But I know this one. 1, 2 and 3. That's easy. But Gort then leads the way. 1.3 seconds ahead of Spike already. So he's already out of DRS range then. Meanwhile, Siege then trying to have a battle with Clifford then. Clifford braking early and Siege taking that position away. Siege then up into P4 as Jay finally gets back to the pits then to change that front wing. And that is a disaster for the Renault driver. The number 57 car will have to take a new front wing, and what might have been, it's not over yet though, we could have a safety car at the Singapore Grand Prix. 100% safety car record at the Singapore Grand Prix in real life. Not so much in the game, but don't rule it out just yet. This is a battle developing between Z3 and Sean there. We'll have to try and keep our eye on. But one battle that will be spicy on the track is the battle between Spike and Lambo. Now this is really for championship scrapping here. These two are so involved in the championship right now. They know Poe isn't here. They know that this is the perfect opportunity to try and take some points back. And Lambo knows here in the slipstream, Spike is struggling. So if he has damage, he's really feeling the force of it now. As we head through turn 15 and then into the braking zone of turn 16 as Squeezy sets the fastest lap on the race on a set of soft tyres. And of course with that front wing change, he finds himself well down the field. And this could hurt his chances. It could hurt him, especially if he doesn't score any points whatsoever at the Singapore Grand Prix. Lap 6 then we're going to come on to. The Gort is leading the race from Spike and Lambo. That's your top 3 so far. But how long will it be in that order then as Lambo looks to try and make a move up the inside of turn 1 as he got the move done. Spike will try and stick it into turn 2 and then around the outside of turn 3, but he backs out of it, tries to make the cutback happen, but it doesn't happen. And Lambo then jumps up to P2. Spike then wanting to try and find that way back past, but he couldn't quite do it. Lambo then up into P2. And he's ahead of Spike in the championship standings right now. He's ahead of Spike out on track. And Spike here might try and move down the inside, but he doesn't. And Lambo holds on to P2. Now, what's his pace like? Can he catch the Gort, who's now 3.9 seconds ahead of the pair of them? Let's have a look at this battle then. It's Z3, Sean and Light E. This is the battle for 5th place here at Singapore. And you can see here Sean is putting Z3 under so much pressure then as we head towards the old Singapore sling of turn 10 then. And then we come through turn 11, the right-hander there, towards 12, and then through turn 13. As that is Damien looking up the inside, and he's got the position then. He looked up the inside. Was there a bit of contact between the two? But Z3 then finds himself down a position from Sean then. And Light E looking to try and take advantage then of this battle. He's just staying behind for now on those soft tyres. He wants to make them last as long as possible. But Sean here has taken that position away from Z3 then. And Z3 losing that back end. And Light E wanted to make a move but backed out of it instead. But he's putting immense pressure on the Norwegian driver then, as they head through the final couple of corners. Here comes Siege then, down the inside of Spike into turn 1. But Spike just about held on, but he's got himself a time penalty for his troubles. Siege then will be focusing on the exit of turn 3, through that kink of turn 4, now towards turn 5. And of course Siege in the DRS zone, then he will have the slipstream as well. Let's see what he can do, the Williams driver against the Alfa Romeo Sauber driver, as we head through turn 6, now down to the braking zone of turn number 7, and Siege has got the move done. He had to run wide, he carried too much speed through the corner. Now going through turn 8, Spike might have an advantage on the traction here as we head through turn 9. He's trying to go up the inside into turn 9, but he can't quite make it stick, and Siege has P3. Spike has dropped to 4th place here, and he'll be immensely frustrated with that. But Sean, meanwhile, still holding on to P5 as Light E there, you see, has found a way past Z3. And now Light E will be trying to have a move on Sean now. He's only 2 tenths behind on the soft tyre, so he's showing good pace here at Singapore. Look at him, trying to go wide. Have a wide entry into turn 13 to get a better exit then as we head towards turn 14. That's yellow flags in sector 3, and that is Steph out of the race. And a virtual safety car has been deployed. So Steph crashing out of the Singapore Grand Prix. And, well, this might be an advantage for the Hypersoft runners. And you can see there, the Gort is coming into the pit lane. So he's trying to use this virtual safety car to his advantage. Lambo stays out then on his set of Ultra Softs. So he will take the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Siege stays out. Spike comes in. And that must be a blessing in disguise for Spike then as he makes his way into the pits. And the Gort then, what's he putting on? A set of soft tyres. And the virtual safety car has ended. So that's a little bit of time allowed for Gort and Spike to come into the pit lane. But now they'll start to lose time, but not as much time as they make a pit stop under full race conditions. So Lambo then leads the Grand Prix then on lap 8. Siege is in second. Sean finds himself up into P3, now battling away with Lighty for the final podium position for now. So the Gort then rejoins in 6th place, and we'll see here the gap to the leader is 22.8. Now, to make a good pit stop round here and to get yourself back in front of the leader, as Lighty here tries to move up the inside. Sean has to take some braking action there. He wanted to try and cut back but couldn't quite do it. And as they head out of the exit on turn 9, Lighty takes the final podium position for now. And Sean there just couldn't quite battle with those wearing ultra soft tyres. Lighty on fresher tyres, you could argue, makes the move then and towards the Anderson Bridge and into turn 13. Lighty takes 3rd place away. Spike meanwhile rejoined in 8th place on a set of soft tyres, so he's looking to try and go to the end now as he heads now towards turn 13. And Lighty has got himself a time penalty there now. So there's the gap to the leaders then. At the Gort 23.0 behind Lambo. And is that gap coming down or is it extending, I wonder? So Lambo then starts lap 9 of this Grand Prix. 23 seconds separates him and the Gort. Now for a pit stop around here, like I was saying, you're looking at around 26 to 28 seconds in the pit lane. So you can see there, Spike 31 seconds will probably rejoin behind, behind Lambo if Lambo were to make a stop. 23.1, 23.0, it's stabilised to say the least. But at the moment then, Z3 23.1 behind the leader, so the Gort is catching him. And Damien comes into the pits then. And Jay, it's going from bad to worse for him. He has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile then, Spike trying to back with Plaster. But Plaster there doesn't give him too much of a hard time. Spike then up into P7. The Gort then makes a move on Z3. And the Gort now up into P5. He's trying to make some progress here without losing too much time to Lambo there. 23.2 is the gap right now. He's only half a second away from Sean up ahead. As we head through the old Singapore sling then. Through 11 here and then through turn 12. And then coming towards the hairpin of turn 13. Trying to get the exit absolutely spot on then. As he's now in the slipstream of Sean then is the Gort. And is he going to try and move into turn 14? He thought about it, but Sean has gone defensive. You see, the thing is, the longer the Gort stays behind Sean here, the more time he's going to lose. And pitting early is great, but if you meet traffic like this, it can hinder you in the long run then. Lambo still staying out. He's done 9 laps so far on those ultra softs, as has Siege here. And Lighty is in 3rd place. He's obviously on a set of soft tyres. He started on those soft tyres as well, so he's looking in good shape for the race then. But meanwhile, behind him, the Gort and Sean are battling away for position. Here comes the Gort trying to go around the outside of turn 1. And he's not given room on the entry into turn 2, so he has to take to the outside of the track then. But the Gort then makes the move on Sean. And now he's up into P4. I don't think there was really an option for the Gort there, but to take that bit of escape road. So he is now up to P4. And Sean here down to P5. Clifford trying to close in on Plaster here. Clifford on a set of soft tyres. And he's looking to try and find that way past sooner rather than later. Lambo here, 6.5 ahead of Siege. Let's have a look at the gap to the leader. And you can see there the Gort is now 24.9. So that gap is increasing. And that is only a good sign for Lambo then. Did he tap the wall there, Lambo? I thought I heard a little bit of a tap of the wall there. I could be wrong. But, well, that could be a bad sign for Lambo then. He might have to pit earlier than he wanted to. But at the moment, what does he do? He stays out for another lap. So he's so far done 10 laps plus qualifying on those tyres. Siege also stays out. Oh, he loses that back end and he's into the pit wall. Oh, Siege lost the back end and he spins the car around and then drives into the pit lane. there wasn't really an alternative there. But, well, Siege, you can see they lost that back end. And, well, he's got to change his front wing now. Now, did his team... And they do have a front wing ready. So that was lucky for the Williams then. They were jolly on the spot with that front wing, just in case. And the Toro Rosso crew is getting ready there. And that is Z3 coming into the pits. So soft tyres are ready for him as he comes in. On they go, and away he goes. And where will he rejoin then in the race? As there we go. I don't know what happened to Z3 there. I thought there was a little bit of lag there, but I don't know whether he engaged anti-stall or whatever. As Z3 there took a very long time in the pits, and he rejoins there in P12 on a set of soft tyres. Lambo then still leading the way, 22.9. That gap is falling now. And it will remain to be seen whether those soft tyres will be able to make it to the end of the race. Lap 11 of this Grand Prix. Lambo still in the lead from the Gort and Lighty. Lighty still yet to make a stop. They'll ride on board with the Gort for a bit, as he picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Fastest lap at the moment is for Jay, 141.014. The closest battle out on track is between Plaster and Ollie here. Ollie moving to the left-hand side. It looks like he's going to try and go around the outside of turn 14, but Plaster's having none of it. But you can see the superior grip that Ollie had there. And they're trying to go side by side into 15, up the inside of turn 16. And I think Plaster, in the end, just gave him that little bit of berth that he needed. The Gort's there, setting 141.000. Well, you don't get much more perfect than that. Sean comes into the pits. He pits in there. And, of course, I think he was supposed to pit in before Siege. But on go with some soft tyres for him. And away he goes. Obviously, Siege losing the back end there. And remember, he rejoined in P9. He's now trying to battle Plaster here. And it's going to go a long way around in turn 2, but the short way around in turn 3. And he has that position. He is now up into P8, chasing down Ollie, 1.8 seconds up the road. Lambo here has made those ultra soft tyres last so long into this first stint. And maybe that's the strategy here, as he makes his way towards the left-hander of 15, then that right-hander of 16. And you just wonder when he's going to pit in. 3-second time penalty for him for that one. And you wonder when he's going to pit in. It must be sooner rather than later. He's done 11 laps on those ultra softs. This is his 12th lap. Plus he's also done qualifying on those tyres as well. So I don't know. We've already seen Siege lose it into the pit wall. Those rear tyres going off. And Lambo does come in for his stop then. And in he comes. So this must be a set of soft tyres. We won't be running ultra softs in this part of the race then. So the Gort then trying to make his way around the track as Lambo finds himself into the pit box. On go a set of soft tyres. And away he goes. So the Gort then should take back the lead of the race. There he is. Lambo then making his way towards the end of the pit lane. So the Gort goes through. Lighty there, trying to battle away. Lambo making his way to the exit of pit lane. Lighty here might have a go. And you can see there, Lambo getting it wrong out in the pit exit. And he's side by side with Spike then. And Jay picking up a 5-second time penalty, or stop-go penalty, for speeding in the pit lane. So Lambo rejoins behind Spike. But of course Spike now is on 5-lap older tyres. With Plaster already, well, he's done 11 laps on those ultra softs, so he's yet to stop, as is Lighty. So the Ferrari's running long into this race. Ollie, of course, pitting in early. Don't know whether he's going to make those soft tyres last to the end of the race. It'll be a challenge, but I wouldn't put it past him. But meanwhile, Lambo is trying to make his way past Spike. But Spike, meanwhile, has locked horns with Lighty. Now, Lighty started the race on those soft tyres. And he's making his way towards turn 13. They're looking good, Nick, for now. As I say that, runs a little deep into turn 13. As Spike looked to try and prioritise the exit of the corner, but it didn't seem to work. And Spike just didn't quite have the momentum, but you can see now he's very close, right on the gearbox of Lighty there. And into turn 16 he goes then. Lambo looking on ominously as well. as these three battling for second place. This is only helping the Gort then extend his lead at the front of the pack. There is the front wing of a Mercedes there, and that looks, I don't know if that was Siege or not, but you can see Spike there having to hold back from Lighty. Couldn't use the full power of that engine then, but here we go then. Round to the left-hand side. Will he try and move down the inside into turn one? Yes, he will, and he's got the move done. Lambo there wanted to follow him through, but no dice. He's now trying to take a wider entry into turn three and try and get past him that way, but no dice for now. And so Spike then getting up into P2. Now remember, all he has to do is score 12 points and he could take the lead of the championship, if my maths is correct. It's not correct. He has to actually take 17 points from this race. So a second place for Spike would help him take the lead of the championship, but for Lambo, it's going to be the same story. If he finishes in P4, he'll also take the lead of the championship. So the ordering there will be a little bit muddled, but he's got to get past Light E first of all. If he finishes in third place, he will take the lead of the championship. And we come towards turn 13 then. And that's Jay making a move on Sean. Behind him, that's Z3 trying to make a move up the inside of Maze. And Maze running deep into the corner. Z3 going through. And Lambo, meanwhile, has got away past Light E. Completely off camera. Now I wish these drivers made a move whilst the camera was on them, but never mind. What can you do? Lambo then up into P3 then, and now willing to chase down Spike. So as it stands then, Lambo will be taking the lead of this championship with Spike in second. Poe dropping to third, which is not the end of the world for Poe, as obviously he's not here for this race. Lap 15 of this Grand Prix, and the Gort leads by 8.2 seconds from Spike. That's just a little bit quiet. Why not go through it? So the Gort leads the way then. Spike is in second, Lambo third, Lighty is in fourth, Clifford is in fifth, Siege in sixth, Ollie is in seventh, Jay in eighth, Sean is in ninth, Z3 in 10th, Maze in 11th place, Squeezy in 12th, Damien in 13th, Plaster, the last of the runners, in 14th place. Steph and George Roberts have retired from this race. Well, the Gort here is putting in a faultless performance so far. 8.3 seconds is the gap between himself and Spike, and if Lambo and Spike are going to battle, that's just going to help him even more. But we head now through the old Singapore sling into turn 11 now, and then that left-hander of turn 12 towards the hairpin of turn 13, and Lambo, you can see, is closing and closing on Spike. 8.7 the gap is now at the front of the pack. And the Gort is just extending that advantage sector by sector. He's putting in a flawless drive so far. And into turn 16, Spike and Lambo go. They're very tight together, very close. And Lambo here looks like he's got the pace to get past. It's great having the pace to get past, but it's a completely different story of actually making it stick. As Spike trying to defend as hard as he can. From Lambo there, and let's have a look at Spike then as he makes his way towards turn 2 there. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. We might be able to see who that is, but the yellow flags are gone now, so that's that for now. But that is Clifford into the pits. So something might have happened to Clifford there. Anyway, we're focusing on this battle right now between Spike and Lambo, because Lambo looks like he's ready to make a move then. Towards turn 7 they go. He's going to try around the outside, Lambo, into turn 7, and Maze is out of the race. Well, Lambo here is trying to go up the inside now into the next corner, and as Spike got the ability to defend, he tries to go up the inside of turn 9, but he hasn't quite got it. And into turn 10 they go, as into now turn 11 and then 12 towards the hairpin of turn 13. So Lambo has second place, and at the moment, as it stands, he will be taking the lead of the championship on lap 16. 9.1 seconds away from the Gort though. It's going to be a mighty challenge for Lambo to try and find his way back past. Well, as we see Z3 here trying to close in on Sean. That is Poe in the live chat saying that he fell asleep. Well, at the moment, Poe, Lambo will be overtaking you in the championship as it stands. But still all to play for then, as Z3 leaving that braking for turn 13 very late indeed, as he now makes his way into the slipstream and towards turn 14, that right-hander there. And how's your luck in this one? Well, lap 17 then, the Gort leads the way by 8.1 seconds. Spike in third, Lighty in fourth, Seaches in fifth. We've got Ollie in sixth, Jay in seventh, Sean in eighth, Z3 ninth, and Clifford in 10th. That is your top 10 so far in this Grand Prix. I'm hoping everything's okay on the stream, because the YouTube on my laptop ran into a little bit of a problem there. Hopefully the stream's okay, and I hope you're enjoying this so far in 720p standard. I used to run it in 720p low, but you can see more or less pixels if you like, so I thought I'd treat you today. But we've got Z3 then trying to close in on Sean, and battle for P8 then in this race, as he looks to try and get the DRS into the slipstream. He goes, he's going to try around the outside then into turn 7. Little bit of a wheel rubbing then into turn 8, and nothing doing. Z3 just couldn't get past Sean there in that one, but now look who's joined the battle. Clifford in P10 there, looking to try and make a move, trying to sense an opportunity there, but nothing doing. And the gap at the top is coming down. The gap is now 7.7 seconds. And Lambo looking to try and reel in the Gort then towards the end of this race. Clifford on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres is looking to try and make this move done as we head towards turn 14 up the inside of Z3 then. And Z3 here trying to hold on, but he can't quite do it, and Clifford takes P9 away from him as they head through 15 and then through turn 16. Sean is his next target then, as we head towards 18 and 19 now. Under the stadium we go, and now into that right-hander of turn 19. Into turns 20 and 21. You can see the grip that Clifford has here against Sean as we head towards 22 and then through 23. And is this a move here? Sean tries to go defensive. Here comes Clifford then in the slipstream. Darts out to the left-hand side, down the inside. And that move by Clifford there puts him up into P8. Good move from Clifford there. A little bit dicey with the how late he pulled out of the slipstream there, but he timed it to perfection. And Clifford now up into P8. So the Gort then leading the way. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. Now, who could that be? Sectors 2 and 3. I'm not quite sure who it was, but meanwhile, though, Ollie is under increasing pressure from Jay here. Jay, who's trying to make this a recovery drive and a half here through the old Singapore sling, and then into turn 11, and then through turn 12, and then into the hairpin of turn 13. You can see how wide Jay is there on the entry to try and make that make his exit as smooth and as clean as possible. But you can see him now. Look at it. It's starting to work here as he's now trying to go down the inside into turn 14 on Ollie here, and Jay has the move done. Overtakes for P6 in this race, and there wasn't really a lot Ollie could do about it. Jay has much more grip, and Damien's retired from the session now. Damien is out of the race. And we're going to ride on board with the Gort because I'm not sure where Damien was on track. But we're down to 12 runners in this one. I'm just trying to see if we can see a stricken car anywhere. There's a piece of, well, it said Red Bull on the side, and that is Z3. And I believe that's a bit of end plate off his car. And it is, you can see the right-hand side there. So that was a bit of Toro Rosso front wing. And Clifford setting the fastest lap of the race then, as Z3 there is going to struggle with front end grip. Lap 19, it's a long way for him to go on that front wing. And Gort then is has he got, he has, well, that's oh sorry I tried to create a bit of false drama here. No, because the Gort actually drives for Haas, that's why. Well, the Gort here has showed pace early on. Lambo is trying to reel him in though. 6.2 is the gap right now. As you can see, Lambo here trying to head under the stadium section then. When the Gort crosses the line, we'll have 12 laps to go in the Singapore Grand Prix. Only 12 more laps for the Gort to hang on to. Lambo, to catch the Gort, has to close the gap by half a second per lap. Exactly. So let's see what he can do then as he makes his way towards turn 1. The gap was 6.07. So through the mini sectors then we'll be able to see how much he's closing in then. And we'll keep an eye on that lap after lap then. Lighty comes into the pits then. And this is his one and only stop. But he's got himself a 5-second stop go. Now he won't be able to serve that in this pit stop. On go a set of Ultra Softs. And it will be now time for him to push as hard as he possibly can as he leaves the pit lane then. And he'll rejoin. Where will he rejoin? He'll rejoin in front of... No, he'll rejoin behind Jay. My apologies. Squeezy here, trying to chase Z3 into the pits there. Bit of an odd one there. But they both make it in. And Z3 then will be hoping to... is it front wing changes for the both of them? I wonder. Let's have a look then. Z3 into the pits. And yep, that's a change of front wing for him. Squeezy in, but only for a tyre change. And Clifford's out. Clifford is out of this race. Let's have a look at what happened. Now he's lost it in turn 6, has he? I'm not quite sure. We'll have to ride on board with Squeezy then. As he exits the pit lane. Now I wonder if his car will stay there for the entirety of Squeezy coming around. And if we see green flags from here, it means he's gone. But I believe he has gone. Can we see any bit of debris on the on turn 6 here? No, nothing. So not quite sure what happened to Clifford there, but he is out of the Singapore Grand Prix. Lighty, meanwhile, trying to make a battle with Ollie here as he goes through 15 and then up towards turn 16. Yellow flags in sector 3. And who could that be, I wonder? And is it Jay? It is Jay. And Jay's lost another front wing. Oh, from bad to worse for the pole sitter. He's lost another front wing. And that is another excruciating lap back to the pits. This time it's not as far away, but it's still no less excruciating. And we can see here Lighty now on those fresh ultra soft tyres. 11 laps to go. He's got a great opportunity to try and get past Ollie here for P5. So after 2 laps then, Lambo has got the gap down 0.8 of a second. There he is. They're in the same picture now. But we're going to jump back on board with this battle between Ollie and Lighty then. As Lighty tries to get in that slipstream of Ollie. And you can see Ollie going defensive as they head down towards turn 7. Lighty trying to be late on the brakes, trying to go around the outside. And what a move from Lighty! Late on the brakes, the Ferrari driver, and he's up to P5. Now, whether Ollie made that a battle or not, well, Lighty won't care. Late on the brakes, round the outside. Great move from the German, and he finds himself now up into P5. Next target is Siege. He is 25.6 seconds up the road, so it's a difficult task, but it's just for Lighty to hold on now. Meanwhile, we've got a battle between Z3 and Jay here. And that looked like Z3 was a bit out of shape coming through turn 5 there. Through turn 6 they go. He has the DRS, and Jay not able to try and make that move stick then. But, well, Z3 then finds up into P9. Made that overtake on Jay. And, well, Jay rejoining then on a set of soft tyres. Z3 on fresh Ultra Softs. And, well, he's now up into P9 then. Making his way through the Singapore Sling. Or the old one anyway. Lap 22 to 22. So it's a new number, look it up. The Gort leads the way then. 4.8 seconds lead over Lambo there. And we have a look at the gap to the leader then. Spike is 14.4. So, well, the Gort could make a pit stop and come out in third, but, you know, why would you want to do that then? Ollie is into the pits then. Of course, he pitted very early on in this race to replace a front wing. This time, it's just going to be tyres. Or, no, it is a front wing as well. So, on go a set of ultra soft tyres, and Ollie then will go away and try and rejoin the track. Then Squeezy sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:38.3, and Jay here looking like he's just holding on for a points finish. He wants to try and get past C3 to make that 2 points, but it is a case of what might have been for the Renault of Jay then, as Z3 gets himself a time penalty there. The Gort then rounding the final corner to start lap 23 of the Singapore Grand Prix. We have 9 laps to go. 9 laps, 4.5 seconds. The gap is closing and Lambo is doing it well. So he's only going to catch him now by around about 4.5 tenths per lap. So he's got good pace on him, but whether he can convert that into good battling is another question. It's catching him is one thing, overtaking him is quite another. As Z3 trying to close in on Ollie. Ollie, who's just rejoined on a set of ultra soft tyres, fresh one at that, and is in 8th place at the moment. As was that him tapping the wall there? It was, and that's going to open up Z3 here to try and get into the slipstream and past him. Does he try it into turn 14? No, he doesn't. Tucks back in, and Ollie gets away with that one. As they head now into 16 here, then through 17. As Ollie just about to hold on here. And a little bit of a moment for him in turn 13, but he seems to have recovered from it. And now he'll just be focused on trying to build up that gap now. So, as the Gort here is coming towards turn 18. Under the stadium he goes, then into turn 19. 4 seconds the gap is. As the Gort then coming around the final couple of corners. And he will start lap 24 in the lead. Meanwhile then, Jay is right on the back of Z3. He's going to try and move up the inside in towards turn 5. And Jay here has got the move done. He has got himself a time penalty though, and he's got himself DRS. Z3 will have the same though. No, he won't have DRS. My apologies. No, he doesn't have it. Well, Z3 then loses out then. And the fight carries on. The Gort then, 3.3 seconds separates him and Lambo. And Lambo here is just got his head down right now and is looking to try and make every apex count. 7 and a bit laps to go. And Lambo is closing in on the Gort. And at this current pace, he's going to catch him with 2 laps to go. So the Gort really has to brush up on his defending here. He's got to make it work. He has to make it work. He hasn't got long left, but Lambo is on a mission. 2.9 the gap is now as we head into the hairpin of turn 13. Now, I don't know whether the Gort has any time penalties, but Lambo does have some. So that's why Lambo is on a mission here. He knows he's got the time penalty to add on after the race. So he will try and push on as hard as he can. He's got to get past and then build that gap as well. So it's even tougher for him. Obviously, the engineer tells you of penalties of the car in front and behind you. So the Gort should know that Lambo has a time penalty. And he might be less resilient in his defending then. If he knows that Lambo has that time penalty, it's very difficult to make 3 seconds a lap around this circuit. And here is Jay then in the slipstream of Ollie with the DRS open. And as we head towards turn 7, you can see there Jay getting onto that right hand side curb there, attacking it. Real aggression in the way he's just handling that car. And Jay now coming through. We've got Spike into the pits. Now Spike is taking a visit into the pits. I don't know why that is then. Is that a change of front wing? Comes in. No, it's a set of ultra soft tyres going on for Spike then. So is he looking to get a fastest lap maybe? Well, whatever it is, he's going to rejoin in 4th place. Maybe he wasn't happy with those soft tyres. So the Gort here has got to watch out for that as well. 5 laps between Lambo and the Gort's tyres here. And those 5 laps will make all the difference. Lap 25 of this Grand Prix. 2.4 is the gap at the moment. and you might be feeling that the Gort is just trying to nurse those tyres and nurse the car home. Doing the complete opposite of that is Jay. He's attacking every curb and he's attacking every apex to try and make his way past Ollie. Now Ollie on a set of ultra soft tyres, Jay on a set of softs, and Ollie just can't get away from Jay. This just shows you how much pace Jay had for the race then, as we get into turn 3. Now into the slight kink of 4 towards the right hander of turn 5, and you've got the DRS zone immediately after turn 5. There it is. And does Jay get a good exit then? He goes into the slipstream through turn 6 there, and now towards turn 7 he's going to try the move down the inside, then into turn 7. He's got himself a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner there, and well, he makes the move, and I don't think Ollie will be too impressed with that, but Jay up into 8th place then. The gap now then 1.9 seconds. Well, the Gort is going to have to defend for his life here. And, well, it's looking like a fantastic battle is developing as the Gort heads towards the old Singapore sling of turn number 9. And then it's round into the right-hander of turn 10 and 11, 12 and 13, the hairpin. And, well, the Gort here, 1.8 seconds between himself and Lambo. Lambo can almost really touch him within touching distance. Lambo always keeps his head down when he knows there's a chance. He's going to go for it. He's always been that sort of driver. And he makes his way now towards 16 and 17. 1.7 is the gap right now. And when they come towards the line, it will be 5 laps to go. And you can see here, maybe Lambo's got a bit of pace on him, maybe the Gort's nursing his tyres, or maybe it's a bit of both. But the Gort here knows he has to try and hang on for a couple more laps. The Gort then, 5 laps to go. He starts that period in the lead. 1.4 seconds is the gap. This is going to be tight and very action-packed. So with 5 laps to go then, it's all to play for. 1.1 seconds Lambo is behind. He's not far away from that DRS zone. I said Lambo would catch him with 2 laps to go. He might catch him with 5 laps to go here. Here they go through turn 7, then towards turn 8. The Gort's going through it now. And then through the left-hander of turn 9. Spike there setting the fast lap of the race, 1:37.0. And that pretty much cements him in 4th place at the moment. Lambo here will want to take this race win. The Gort could be only the 2nd driver outside of the top 4 championship battle to win a race this season. And it's real dominance shown by the top 4 this season. The Gort is looking to try and buck that trend along with Blizzard. But here comes the Gort then, coming through 16 and 17. And you can see their Lambo right on his tail now. We've got 18, then 19. Coming through to the next 90-degree corners of 20 and 21. And then the double left-hander of 22 and 23. 7/10 of a second the gap is now, as the Gort tries to make his way through. 4 laps to go here at Singapore. But there you can see Lambo has the DRS then. As we head towards turn 1, Lambo knows he's got 4 laps to make this move. But whether he's got time penalties or not, he might want to make this move sooner rather than later. Here we go then towards turn 5. Feeding that car through, and you can see Lambo here is right on the Gort's tail. This could be the move for the lead if Lambo plays his cards right here through that kink of turn 6. Here we go towards turn 7. No, Lambo tucks back into the slipstream. He wasn't confident on the brakes there, and the Gort holds on to P1 as we head through turn 8, then through that left-hander of turn 9, and then the old Singapore sling of turn 10 as Lambo runs deep into the corner there. That's going to buy the Gort a little bit of track space here. The gap now up to 9/10 of a second, just in that one mistake. And the Gort there making his way through towards the Anderson Bridge and then towards turn 13. Getting that exit right is crucial here, as the Gort has now got that gap to a second before Lambo tries to eat that gap back up. And looking to try and get a move done sooner rather than later is Lambo. But the more corners that pass, the less time he has to make the move. And Lambo, it's very rare for him to see a mistake, especially this season. But just making that mistake coming through turn 9 has cost him a little bit of time. Not too much though. But it might have taken a bit of life out of those tyres. And that is Z3 up ahead, by the way, in the Toro Rosso. 3 laps to go. Lap 29 has started. And that looks like it's Z3 up ahead. And, well, he might have a part to play in this one. Or does he get out of the way, or does he help Lambo? As I think that was Z3 hitting the wall there, and it was. Right-hand side of that front wing strewn across the track. And here comes Lambo then, trying to make his move on the court. Still, he's a long way back in terms of trying to make a move into turn 7. And that really is the best chance he has of making a move into turn 8 then. And you can see then Lambo now into that dirty air. He might be just struggling here, like I am apparently, to get some words out. Here comes the court then towards the old Singapore sling. Turn 9, he chucks the car in. And then towards, turn 10 I should say. Turn 11 now, into turn 12. And then we're heading across the Anderson Bridge towards turn 13. Let's have a look at Lambo now, as we head into the hairpin here. And we'll see if these guys can make this battle one of the grandstand finishes. We'll see here how Lambo can get on then, as we head towards 17 and 18 here, or it's 18 and 19, sorry. No, I've got it confused. This is 18 and 19. See, I told you, so many corners at Singapore, it's easy to get confused. Now into 20, and then through turn 21, as Jay picks himself up another time penalty. Here's Lambo then. He's only 3/10 behind, but he's got the dirty air to worry about as well. 2 laps to go here, but this could be the move now. The court's been struggling for grip around the final corner, and Lambo's going to try and go around the outside, and they make contact. The court slams into one of the tyres of Lambo there, and Lambo takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Now he's got to run away with it. He may have time penalties, so the court has to try and stick with him as best as he can. 2 laps to go, and well, Lambo takes the lead then. He leads going into turn 3 and 4. Sean then looking to try and make a battle with Squeezy, but Squeezy is just about getting away. He must have made a mistake then, but he's looking to try and get back on it now. So the battle for the lead then, still 1.1, and if Lambo does have time penalties, then the Gort just need to stay within that window. Lambo aggressive with the move, but it's job done for him, as we head towards turn 13 on the exit then, as we head towards turn 14. And well, it's not been an easy race for Lambo, but if he can get this car to the finish line now, he'll be taking the lead of the championship. Still about 1.5 laps to go here, and it is one of the most demanding races on the calendar. Not only is it demanding on the drivers, but it's demanding on my voice as well, apparently. But we head through the final couple of corners of the penultimate lap here at Singapore. And you can see that the court hasn't let Lambo get away too far. Come through the final 2 corners then. Lambo will start the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix in the lead of the race. Will he finish it in that? Heading through turns 1, 2 and 3 then is Lambo. Qualified 6th place in the race, in qualifying. And now finds himself leading the race with 1 lap to go. Now coming towards turn 6 here, or turn 5. Now he's coming towards turn 6. That flying right-hander just chucked the car in. Full throttle through there in these cars. And then down towards turn 7. And you can see that the gap is 2.2. 2.4 now the gap. It's 0.6 of a second that Lambo needs to find now. Half a second now, as he's looking to just try and... Look at this. Mode 3 and the ERS battery high as mode 5 for a second there. And you can see there the gap is now over 3 seconds. So that's part 1 done, or it was, until the gap shrunk down to 2.8 again. It's going to be so close between those two. And it all depends if Lambo has penalties and how many he has. So Lambo then heading towards 15 and then through turn 16. Through 17, under the grandstand. I'm going to turn in for 18. And then the right-hander of turn 19. Just a couple more corners to go for Lambo then. Around turns 20 and then through turn 21. And Lambo here, who qualified in 6th place, on track as he finds his way around the final 2 corners. He crosses the line to win the Singapore Grand Prix. The Gort with an amazing drive. He finishes in 2nd place and actually had 6 seconds of penalties there. So the Gort then actually had all the penalties there then. Siege is making his way towards the line as the fireworks start here. Shucking the car into the final 2 corners then, and Siege will grab the last place on the podium. And as you can see, they all, Lambo and the Gort, had penalties galore between them, because Siege has cut that gap down to 9 seconds when it was originally around about 20. Spike then making his way towards the line in P4, runs wide around the final corner. And Spike here spins his way across the line and retires just about across the line. But it's not been a great day for Spike then. He'll finish in P4. Lighty then in P5. And the German in the Ferrari will grab a P5 finish. Use the alternate strategy. Started outside the top 10. But will finish in P5 on a set of ultra soft tyres. 5 seconds added for his unserved stop-go penalty. Squeezy Lemon, battling for the championship, had to start from the back of the grid this race, but recovers to finish in 6th place for this one and added some points onto the board. And Jay, what a story it could have been. Pole position, but he has to settle for 7th place, in 8th place even, as Sean jumps him across the line. And Ollie will be the last of the runners on the lead lap then as he rounds the final 2 corners. He will be finishing in P9. But round 15 is over. The most demanding track on the calendar has come to an end, and Lambo stands tall above the rest. Well, there he is then. Lambo takes another win in this season and puts himself at the top of the championship with that win here at Singapore. So then, your official, unofficial results for the Singapore Grand Prix. Lambo wins the race. The Gort in 2nd. Siege is in 3rd. Spike in 4th. Lighty in 5th. Squeezy in 6th. Sean in 7th. Jay in 8th. Ollie in 9th. Z3 in 10th. Plaster in 11th as the last of the finishers. Then it's Clifford, Damien, Mays, Steph, George Roberts. All did not finish this race. Well then, drama throughout that one. And my voice is definitely seen the taking its toll. But a great race for everyone involved, and Singapore has put on a fantastic show tonight. And we will be heading back to the lobby now. Give the drivers a chance to cool down after one of the most demanding races on the calendar, and we hopefully will be back for Commentators Corner. But if you're leaving us now and skipping the drivers' interviews, then hopefully you'll be joining us for the next round, which is at Russia, round 16. You can watch that here live on TTTV at 5 to 8 GMT, and it's all live on this channel. Round 16 will be there. But for the rest of you, we're going to jump over to Commentators Corner, which of course means a separate stream. So we shall see you after this short break.